creative are you, really? I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 is like you're off the charts, really. I guess it would be past 10 if you're off the charts, but 10 is world class, creative genius, and 0 is you're not creative at all. How creative are you really? And I ask this because I've asked this question to audiences around the world. And with my book on creativity coming out soon, I've had a lot of workshops and interviews, and I have the chance to speak with audiences, every audience you can imagine about this topic. And sometimes I have somebody tell me, I'm a 10. I'm a 10. I was speaking in Hawaii. I had a business owner tell me, Jonathan, I think I'm really good at the things you talked about. Recently I was speaking live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I had an entrepreneur come up afterwards, and she said, Jonathan, I think I'm actually really good at what you talked about. I think I'm close to a 10. What do you recommend to me? And then just a few days ago, I'm on a virtual conference speaking about this topic, and I did a poll, I did a survey, and I had a few people who were successful people, CEOs of companies and entrepreneurs and leaders of nonprofits. I had a few of them say, I'm a 10 at this stuff. And I can't help but think, and I said this to the person in Hawaii, I said this to the business owner in Philadelphia, I can't help but think, well, this is what I think. 90% of Americans consider themselves above average drivers. Roughly 90% of teachers surveyed think they're above average at teaching. Roughly 90% of people in leadership roles consider themselves to be above average in leadership, at engaging their people, at inspiring, at communicating, at motivating, at creating accountability, at building culture. And I think they call it the Lake Wobegon effect, from the Garrison Keillor show. I don't know if you remember it, but all the children are above average, right? And here's what I thought, and here's what I asked those two business owners, with the one in Hawaii and the one in Philadelphia. I said, well, let me ask you this. Are there any causes that you're interested in supporting? Really, I guess I was asking, like, how generous are you? How much do you contribute in a way that gives back, that can multiply, that can be scaled, that will have a ripple effect even long after you're gone? And they looked at me and said, oh, that's a good question. I said, well, do you have a cause that you're really involved in, that you really care about? Yeah. Both of them said, yeah. And I've asked this many, many times with those specific examples, Hawaii and Philadelphia. He said, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I said, well, tell me about the cause. And they told me a little bit about it, each of them. And I said, well, what if you did this from a creativity perspective? Because you're creative. You're good at this, right? And I think most of us are good at a lot of things, but good and great are not the same thing. And when once I arrive, I'm in trouble. And I was seeing, my concern was these two people, had they arrived? Maybe had they arrived. So I said, well, take that cause, and here's my simple creativity challenge for you. Double the amount you contribute to that cause currently. I don't know what you contribute to it this year. Maybe it's $100,000. Maybe it's 100 hours of your time. Maybe it's, an hour every day. Maybe it's, every week you're involved in that cause. But however you contribute to that cause currently, double it. However you contribute to that cause currently, double it. Double it. How creative are you, really? Take one area of your life and say, you know what? How could I double my impact there? How could I double my contribution there? How could I double my generosity in that area?